Evan Giddings and FP Santangelo in for Steiny and Guru here on 95.7 The Game. This is the crossover. What's up, Mark Willard? What's up, Dan Dibley? How we doing on a Friday?
We're doing great. Doing great. Yeah, excited
real
about Wild Card Weekend.
Yes, sir.
And the Warriors play. Sorry. I mean...
Yeah, the Warriors play tonight. Is Draymond in? Is he in?
Yeah.
Is he? Well, and how do they lose tonight is the question.
They don't.
You would
How
hope
about that for a plot twist?
That would be crazy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, book it.
Yeah.
They don't lose.
I got him
Chicago
plus
Bulls.
35.5.
What's the number?
Good question. I don't know.
Are they favored?
You would hope so, right?
I mean, you would expect them
Warriors?
to be,
You
but
think they'd be favored on the road?
Against the Bulls?
The Warriors?
against the Bulls?
The Bulls are like against the Warriors?
The Warriors should be favored by like 10.5, but it's probably Warriors by 3. I would guess.
You got to stop Jordan.
Number tonight.
Oh my God, Chicago minus 2.5.
There
There
you go.
Yeah, there you
There you go.
That's what.
No, I got it at 3.
Make Pippen
It's
be-
going up.
Make
Bulls minus 3.
Make Rodman shoot.
Make Rodman
Well, I
shoot.
mean, Moody is out, so it's understandable.
Well, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
castrated.
Lost your leading scorer.
It's worth 4 points.
True.
Yeah.
Okay. Man.
But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with the Warriors, guys. Well, at least they can't be booed, right? So
I mean, that's the thing. You looked at the Bulls and you went, "Ugh." I mean, that's an 18-21 team and maybe a play-in team. And the rest of the
And they're
world's
favored,
like
yeah.
you just described the Warriors.
well, I guess they're 13-9 at home. So I guess
Exactly.
they're playing.
They're a
better.
home team.
You just got Vucevic back.
How many NBA teams right now against which would the Warriors be favored on the road?
Probably.
Thanks very much.
you.
Appreciate it,
Pistons.
JT.
Pistons.
Thanks. Happy Friday.
Let's go down the list.
Detroit. Detroit for sure.
The Pistons, the Wizards,
And then Detroit.
The fight,
Portland
the
goes
fighting JPs.
Probably Detroit.
Yeah.
Spurs.
Portland.
Yeah.
Charlotte.
Pistons.
All right. Memphis.
Might be
Maybe.
tough.
I
Yeah.
think Memphis.
On Monday, probably Ja
Yeah.
Morant's
No
out.
Ja.
No Ja.
No Ja.
Yeah.
Toronto? No. Not after what happened last week.
No.
Atlanta,
Hawks? Maybe.
big win the other night.
Before or after the DeJounte Murray trade.
Not Utah.
Right.
Not Utah.
Yeah, so you could count on one hand and you might need one finger from the other.
It's a shame. Yeah.
So
There was a
shame.
ton of blowouts, by the way, yesterday in the NBA. It did make me feel a little bit better about what the Warriors did on Wednesday. Like you see the score of the Oklahoma City Portland game.
I did.
It was a nail biter.
Was it 62?
62 is the
62.
final scoring margin.
There's no load management anymore. They're tired. There's just
Scoot Henderson was a minus 52. I've never seen that in an NBA game in my life.
He's like if you do the metrics, the whatever analytics, which is a word we're starting to have a really hard time with. But anyway, he's like one of the worst players in basketball. Scoot Henderson.
Him and Jordan Poole.
And Andrew
Wiggins and Clay.
Yeah.
And Andrew Wiggins.
No, and Andrew Wiggins is Clay is,
He's down there.
not quite that far down.
No, but he's down there.
But it's literally
in terms of,
it's those three guys. They're the worst players in
Right.
basketball.
And Ryan
They get
Rollins, if
minutes.
you count in
Wow.
target visits,
Right.
Which and I'm surprised I didn't get more love on our show thread because
What'd you want? It was timing. It was when you sent it. Oh, it was when you sent it. It was a funny response, but it was like
Very funny.
But the cycle had already run its course, and we had moved
But
on
you
with our day.
sent it at 10:40 at night.
I didn't send
no
it
one
at
had
all.
responded.
Lucas sent
I
that.
thought you sent that.
No, I didn't send that.
Let's go to the
Wait, what
facts
happened?
here.
He walked out with a handful of $9.99 graphic tees. Like what
For
was
the
he-
7th time.
Oh, for the 7th time.
It was the 7th time that he was seen shoplifting at Target
Boy.
in D.C.
Yeah, I mean,
Which, I mean, they never caught FP when he was there.
Nah, dude. Sneaky like that.
Walked in,
Totally.
grabbed some
Well, you're
garlic.
not 6'10".
Dude,
either.
the analytics, getting back to your point now, this year is like it's the new load management. The coach just says, hey, if we're down by 20, quit. Just stop playing.
Well,
And take your day off while you're playing since you can't give you a day off
and
now.
put Wiggins in.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what they did the
put
other
Dibs
night.
in.
Yeah, he was in the white flag lineup.
Sure. Wow, that hurts.
Well, I mean, you guys talked to Kawakami yesterday. I agree with him. I think they will move him. The question is, how? Like, how do you do it?
Right. What are you going to get?
You gotta send something with him,
I tried to
probably.
make this point yesterday, and I don't know if everybody received it, which is that the other teams have TV sets. Like everyone, trade Wiggins. They can see what's happening too. We're not the only ones who know that Andrew Wiggins has scored 11 points in the last 3 games. The Raptors know. Just because he's from Canada, they're not going to be like, well, he's from here, so.
They'll take it back.
Kids are customs.
They don't stay up late.
Yeah. No customs. You're good.
He needs. When you say he needs a change of scenery, we literally mean he needs to change countries.
Sure.
And then everything's going to be amazing.
He needs a protein shake.
Yeah.
Or 2.
And a sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, something. I don't know. He needs a hug right now. I mean, I don't know how many people he's got in his corner right now, certainly from the fans. I know Klay Thompson stuck up for him at the press conference the other day, but yeah, the Warriors got a lot of issues right now. I know Draymond is supposed to come back and help as much as he can, but the deadline is approaching. And especially hearing now that a few minutes ago from Chris Haynes that the Raptors and Siakam are on the verge of parting ways. I don't know if that means to Golden State. I know he was rumored to be also in talks with Indiana. Sacramento was in on him, then they're out on him. So it's not necessarily Golden State that's the team, but I feel like if another deal happens, there's going to be more pressure for the Warriors to move sooner rather than later.
Well, this is where the Wiggins thing actually could get interesting because I feel like the further this goes, when you start having a name it's been out there for 2 years, Pascal Siakam, and now you're at the end of the deal. So now he's expiring. He's a rental. And the whole world knows he's been available, and now you're starting to use phrases like parting ways. All of these things serve to lower the ask. Like the Raptors are not going to get some sort of a great package for Pascal Siakam. So if the Warriors want him, if the Warriors are willing to give up Kuminga, I bet they could have him immediately. I don't think anybody's going to give him a better player than that. You know, what are you going to give up for a guy who you're going to have to pay a bunch of money for 2 months? And then he leaves. What are you giving up for that? You have to want to get rid of whoever's on your roster. Well, the Warriors have one of those guys. It's Andrew Wiggins. They need a few more dollars in order to make the whole thing work. That would be Kuminga. And the Raptors would be very attracted to it. So, you know, that all boils down to what the Warriors really think about Kuminga in his future.
Right. And that's what I said yesterday in terms of will they trade him? If they are going to trade him, it's because they don't think that he can be a real number 1 or number 2 on a good team in 5 years and 10 years, because Jonathan Kuminga is not going to be the best player that he can be for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Is it 5? I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. So is it after the Steph Curry window? If it is, and you believe that he can be, 22 points a night and 8 rebounds and a real dominant player, then you don't trade him. But if you're not sure, then you might as well trade him and try to make the most of the Steph Curry window.
Yeah, and also depends on how much you want to pay him because he's extension eligible, how much he wants to be paid or how much he thinks he's worth. I'd be less inclined to move him also. Just, I don't know how much you guys feel like this factors in, but if you're looking at the next iteration of Warriors basketball beyond Curry, I would like to have a piece of it that at least was in the building when he was around, when winning was commonplace. I think sometimes players can, and we talked about this, FP and I did throughout the show, like you can kind of fall into a losing mentality. And I think having someone that at least experienced the highest of highs, even if they weren't a big part of that championship team in his rookie year, I think that is valuable to have some sort of, I don't know about torchbearer to the next stage, but at least someone that is familiar with how things are supposed to, or the expectations from someone like Joe Lacob.
Yeah, there probably will be. I mean, look, I don't think Klay Thompson's getting traded.
I don't think so either.
And I think that there's a decent chance that they find a way to extend him on a short deal that's not terribly expensive, especially if they can clear a bunch of money, which, meaning other than him, you can clear Chris Paul. If you get Wiggins off the roster and in return get something else that will also clear, like Siakam, then the idea of re-signing Klay is not that big of a deal.
Do you think if Klay had a crystal ball and could see into the future to now, he would have signed the 2 for $48 prior to the season?
No.
Probably not.
No.
He's not playing poorly. He's not playing that poorly. Everyone, like you admitted this the other day, Dibs. Y'all got mad at him this week because of what he said. Not because of the way he's playing. Like, you look at the Warrior roster right now, I got about 7 people I'd be ticked off before Klay Thompson. As far as the way they're playing basketball.
And if he plays like this, can he get 2 and 48 somewhere else?
Sure.
I think so.
You guys probably missed this today, but player translation to what Clay said is like, I won you 4 championships. We've gotten boat race for 3 games, and you're going to boo us?
Right.
What do you think about that?
I mean, anytime a fan cares more about a player, or it appears that, then you're in slippery slope, right? That's not a good place to be. But like, what his attitude, and I've seen guys say this behind the scenes that they're not going to say it publicly. Like, wait, we busted our ass. We climbed to the top of the mountain 4 times. We planted the flag. We had parades. We got rings, and now we have a little slide. And you're going to boo us? Screw you. That's what that was in a nutshell.
But at the same time, look at the way Steph handled it, and you don't take it personal because it's not like they were booing Clay. They're booing the Warriors.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And these people are also, like, these people are out hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to go to a game at Chase Center. Like, I said this the other day. I don't think booing is that offensive. You go out and do back-to-back stink games, and you get a little groan from the crowd, that's no big deal. You said this. I heard you say it earlier, too.
Yeah.
Leaving. That's a big deal.
Dude, looking up there and people are filing out.
Booing is emotional. Leaving is indifferent.
You don't want to see me anymore.
Right, but booing hurts the players. Leaving hurts the owner. I think not showing up hurts the owner.
But booing hurts the owner.
Well, booing hurts the owner because he's there courtside.
Oh, the owner's been booed.
Well, it's like that.
Wow.
That says that you're putting out an entertaining product, and people are rejecting it. That's incredibly hurtful, especially when you're the guy who's essentially in charge of putting on the show. It's Joe's show. And they booed it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Leaving is the one that is the indifference. FP, you know this.
Yeah.
That's what's happening at 3rd and King.
That's when I played, is when everybody already left. They're like, it's safe to put FP in now. The fans have left in the 7th
I
inning.
would love it if we were still booing the Giants. You left.
You're hooing the Giants.
That's right.
You're hooing them.
That's way worse.
Yeah.
You are hooing them. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco.
Really
always live
are.
in the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Speaking of Steiny, I'll do my best impression. Hey, 49ers, 7 All-Pros, not named Brock Purdy. You hate to see it.
Well, before you get to the Niners, I just want to applaud Bleacher Dave today. I thought his call was awesome.
So good.
Hadn't heard from him in a long time, and he was like laying out the whole idea about booing and booing the Warriors and being there for a long time, and the fans that are now booing, are these fans the ones who were there before? So I think that it's interesting. And the Niners, your transition. Oh, here's a team that's not getting booed. The Niners. And that's coming up next. I thought it was great.
just trying to calm the seas. I mean,
yeah.
Look, people are inclined, and you're free to boo if you want. I'm not one of those people, but to me, it's more like my thing is if I'm silent, like I just don't care. I would never. I rarely have ever left the game, just because I'm also a cheapskate. But I'm inclined to not give you any applause or any emotion at all. Like if I'm just sitting there and just honestly, I found myself kind of chuckling at the end of the Pelicans game. Like it was bad. This is bad.
FP and I were at the Heat game, and not together, but we were in the same row, and we can speak to the same shared experience where it was ugly early, and it was like okay, and the Warriors did good things, we cheered. And then they didn't do much. And then quietly, our section started to empty. Mm-hmm. And there was a Heat fan who came in next to me, and he was immediately like, running his mouth and bumping his gums. And the people in front of us, they left because they were mad at him. And then, before long, like you left and I left, and there was about 2 minutes left. And, we kind of looked at each other like, why would we stay? And
yeah.
They're down by 18, and this thing is cooked.
Well, because you want to see Jamal Cain. That's
right. That's why I came. Yeah.
So you get beat. Don't get out efforted ever.
Right.
Like you can beat me, but you ain't gonna play harder. You ain't gonna play harder than me. Sorry. Yeah. Never, ever, ever, ever. Losing is part of sports, but like somebody going out there, attitude, effort is an attitude, and it's the only thing you can control on a daily basis. Your effort. Like you beat me. Okay, I'll tip my cap. Beat me by 20.
That's probably.
But I'm diving for loose balls, and I'm taking charges, and I'm playing defense, and
that's how you made your career.
Playing hard.
Fighting hydrant.
Totally.
That's also. I think it's kind of unfair that everyone points squarely at the head coach. Like the head coach does deserve some criticism, but it's not his job. And I'm with FP. Like I don't think it's his job to show up to the locker room and try and rile the troops each and every night. Like if you don't show up for successive games and you don't show effort, I mean, I don't know. I can't look at Steve Kerr and say, you know what? He's the reason.
I mean, are you referring to the Kendrick Perkins thing?
Yeah.
That's absurd. That was stupid.
That's Harry High School.
I mean, the idea that the Warriors have been champions for over a decade and now they've lost their spirit because Steve Kerr, that's stupid. Steve has had a rough year. They all have. That's why we're all sitting here and on different days, everybody's got someone else to blame. This is a bad mix. I don't know exactly what the new mix needs to be. And I don't even know exactly why the mix is bad. But we can go person by person. Andrew's no good anymore. Draymond's unavailable. Steph has, all of them start to fall then. The Steph, the Clay, the Looney, they start to fall because what they're used to around them is no longer there. So you can go individual by individual. Steve Kerr won't play. Moody and Kuminga. All of that stuff is all true. But the bottom line is it's just one big mix. And the whole thing doesn't work right now. That's why they're going to shake it up.
They have to. I mean, the insanity quote from Steph after the game. Like, they have to do something. I don't know if it's multiple moves. I think it
has to be multiple moves.
So, but why, though?
Because...
Or what is the goal of the multiple moves?
Okay, here's what I'm saying. If you just go get... And let's take, for instance, Siakam. Like, if you just go get Siakam, and that's it, like, that doesn't really achieve either of your two goals, which is either to get to relevance this year or do something of organizational health for the future. I mean, Siakam could come for 2 months and then leave. So that's no good for the future.
He also could leave you with $40 extra million in cap space.
Absolutely. Although you, in theory, already have a bunch of cap space that's coming next year. If all you want is expiring deals, then Chris Paul and Klay Thompson expire.
72.
There's a bunch of money. But
$72 million.
I think if you're willing to trade Kuminga, which is what can get you Siakam, then you've got to make another swing also to actually put together a starting and finishing five. And it probably...
Like DeJounte Murray or something?
Or a big man. Like
the one we're going to see tonight?
Well, I don't know who it is.
Vucevic?
Maybe. I mean, that's what Bill Simmons threw out there. Now, the trade that he proposed was Draymond. Draymond to the Lakers in a 3-way deal that gets you a future first-round pick, and Rui Hachimura would go to the Bulls for Vucevic. That's an interesting lineup. Steph and Clay are still there. Your two rookies are still there. Looney's still there. Siakam, Vucevic. I mean, it's not going to happen that way. I get it. But the theory that's behind what he's saying makes sense to me because that's a lineup that gets interesting right away. And it does add even more roster flexibility, financial flexibility, that is, going forward because you're essentially clearing Wiggins' number also.
And Draymond and $88 million or whatever it is.
Exactly. Goes into Vucevic, but yeah.
No, I like that. I mean, I think the goal of the deadline should be to set yourself up to make whatever moves you need to in the offseason. I'm just not sure there are a group of players out there that automatically vault the Warriors into a place necessary to, I don't know, to like contend for a top 5 seed, maybe even 4 seed. Like I just, they're so far back at this point. To me, the hope is that you add by subtracting, and it starts with Wiggins,
right?
And then you have your decisions to make this offseason about Clay, Chris Paul. You might even be able to move Chris Paul because I think his expiring deal is what is attractive about him to a lot of teams, anyways. So I think you have some flexibility there, and then you just set yourself up for the summer to make decisions about how you want to retool around Steph. I mean, I don't think rebuild is in the cards. I think it's got to be trying to move as much money around as possible so that either you can attract a free agent, you can distribute some of that money bringing back Clay. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they want to bring back Chris Paul. I don't know. But the deadline to me is more about setting yourself up to, yes, I mean, you want to play well this season. You want to try and get back in the playoff hunt, but it's got to be about the summer to me.
Right, and next year, because even if you do what Mark is talking about and Bill Simmons is laying out, does that make you a top 2, top 3 in the West? No. Does it make you a team that maybe can be top 6 and you make the playoffs and you go on a run, sure, it's possible.
Yeah.
And that's what you were last year, where you were a 6 seed, you beat the 3, and then you lost, and then that was it. You were one and done. And I know you want to win a championship, but you also want to be a playoff team and you want to be relevant. Does that move make you relevant? Maybe. To me, the biggest thing is addition by subtraction, and it starts with Chris Paul, because he'll be gone anyway, and Andrew Wiggins, who is no longer, in my opinion, a viable member of a championship team.
Yeah, and I think they can take their own blueprint, too. I mean, how'd they get Wiggins in the first place? They flipped a player that didn't really fit that well in D'Angelo Russell. And even the first year Wiggins was here, I mean, well, came in a bad season, but also the next year after that, they were a play-in team. They didn't look like they were all of a sudden going to be able to take a massive leap, and then they did. So I think if there's another player out there that they can find and identify as being an aid beyond this year, but also be able to get off of Wiggins, move around some money, I think that is possible. That's the only reason I think Siakam would be in the cards for me, is because I'd be okay with him walking because he gives you flexibility, but also if you can lure him into sticking around, maybe he could be your 4 of the future.
Well, and I would bet that Joe Lacob is very activated right now by the idea of relevance this year. If we're all going to move off the idea of championship, okay, fine. How about relevance? That's not out of the question. Usually NBA teams, the Warriors don't have the pieces to do it right now anyway, and even if they were able to find them on the market, you have to be together for a while in basketball, usually, not always, but you have to build the chemistry, the know-how, the system, all of those things. So championships are not won at the deadline in the NBA. But the Warriors could absolutely I believe that if they got aggressive enough and the right moves are made, does that turn them into a noisy playoff team? I think that's possible. And I would think that if I was Joe Lacob and fans were booing my product, that would matter to me right away.
Yeah.
Right now. So yes, don't blow up whatever you think the future is, but let's also address right now. He was not happy the other night. That was a power walk when he left.
Sure was. Yeah, it was
billionaires don't power walk unless they got a little emotion behind
Olympic speed walk to the locker room.
that was a power walk.
Well, but before we get out of here, I'll throw this at you guys. Before next Friday when they come back, 4-game road trip, you think we have a different roster?
No.
They need more information. Draymond is just going to be coming back to the floor. People are going to want to see that. Every night is information. Tonight is information. Be great to get a win, but
information on another team, perhaps too.
Well, absolutely. Information on yourself, because if you go 1-3 on the road trip, well, then maybe your whole motivation to do what Mark is talking about and be relevant now, maybe that becomes less important if you realize that there are no moves that can be made that would even make you that relevant. If your team is trending toward being, 35-47, no matter what, then why would you even bother?
To try and get off of a bad contract. I mean, that's probably...
You can get off a bad contract, but why would you try and do a 3-team Vucevic?
True.
I do think that Wiggins is gone no matter what.
I agree.
Don't leave yet.
Okay.
Jordan Hicks. I want your 90 seconds on this.
I was just going to say on the way out, Jordan Hicks is going to win the Cy Young, and I'm going to go steal groceries.
Let's go.
I'm going to steal groceries after the show.
For real, what's your reaction?
I don't have a job. Just watch video on him. His fastball averaged 100.2 miles an hour last year.
Intense.
His sinker goes right off of your back knee if you're a right-handed hitter. He just sometimes it's a snowball fight and he can't throw strikes.
Right.
But other than that, here we go again. You got a reliever, you're making him a starter.
Yeah, can he start?
We usually get starters and make them relievers, and now we got a reliever and we make him a starter. I think they want to see. He has started some in his career, and they want to see if he can command the strike zone and throw strikes and not blow out when you throw that hard. That
feels like it's another opener. He's going to be the new Zach Littell.
I'll tell you what. If Camilo falters at all, you got 104 in your bullpen now.
So that's what.
It's 104.
But I'm with you perfectly on this.
But
I think that this is a really smart signing.
Kilometers.
That really ticks me off.
Oh,
why?
That's a tease.
I am losing trust
Wait. Time out. Mark the tape.
Hold on.
Mark is losing trust.
Hold on. No. Way higher than him.
Whoa. The Johnsons?
I think everybody,
God,
including the free agents themselves, I think the word about the Giants organization right now is trust. And
well, they gave him 4 years.
Can't argue with that, dude.
Yeah, you can, because
no, I mean, I don't think players trust.
They don't trust the Giants.
Yeah, I can't argue with that
for a bunch of different reasons. And
you're hoping that Bob Melvin would change that, because I think if Gabe was still here, that would be a legitimate issue.
So
Hicks will throw 2 innings. Every 4th day.
Hit a mascot.
You want
mascot.
You want Yamamoto.
Sure.
You want Yamamoto. You want Stroman.
Lucille's in
you
trouble.
You want Imanaga. You talk about Jordan Montgomery. You talk about Blake Snell. And then you slide in somebody with 8 career starts and electric stuff who's a third of the price of all of these other players. And it starts to smell. The whole thing. And I know some of you are driving around going, well, you're the last to get here. I get it.
Welcome.
But this is to me, what I don't trust is it's above Farhan. This just feels like a game is being played. A big game.
And the way this doesn't stink to you. This is a
big ownership game.
The way this doesn't stink to you if they sprinkle some Cody Bellinger on there, or they sprinkle whoever, the rest of the free agents, Snell. And now you're going, oh, okay, now the whole piece looks good. But right now, I feel like just by reading the Twitter today, the Giants Twitter, everybody's on board with your take.
It's all about money. The whole thing.
Well, the owner told you that in the offseason, that we're just trying to come close to breaking even.
It's hard to do.
Those are his words, right?
That is a good year for a franchise.
Would you still,
really
question for y'all, would you still, because there's so much Farhan anger, would you still be mad at Farhan if you knew, and this is a total hypothetical, he is simply out there doing exactly what he's been told to do?
Yes.
Wait, I got to raise my hand.
Yes.
Okay.
99.99% of GMs or presidents of baseball operations throughout Major League Baseball are doing what they're told to do.
Of course, which is how they keep their job.
Rizzo and I were tight. And Rizzo would go to ownership all the time with the Nationals and have all these deals on the table.
Like an hour since he got
and contracts, and they say, "Here, we got this guy right now for this, and this," and they would say no.
Yeah,
right.
I have this trade on the table. He had Bryce Harper on the table for 7 of Astros' top prospects, all guys that threw like 98 miles an hour, #1 picks, and ownership said no. Turned green when he said, "Here, we can't trade Bryce. It's a bad look." So I would say that in my experiences, that most presidents of baseball operations obviously have to answer to ownership.
Right.
But in the end, that's who's making the decisions.
Well, you don't fire owners, so...
Can you imagine being a GM and just like that's why Mr. Steinbrenner was so great with the Yankees. Just like, here, Cash, do what you want.
Exactly.
I got you.
Exactly.
I trust you. Do what you want.
But Farhan signed a 3-year extension to work for this individual. If this is the case, you signed on to continue doing what you're doing for a guy who doesn't want to do what everyone wants. So to me, as a fan, it comes down to the GM, the president of baseball ops. That's your job.
You're 100% right.
But even if FP is right, and I believe that you are right,
I mean, I might not be.
Ultimately, he's the fall guy. As was Gabe and as will Bob be.
But he's not, because he hasn't fallen.
Yeah.
He got an extension.
Yeah, they'll let the extension fool you, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
they offered $700 million to Otani. They can eat any contract.
Oh, I know.
Office.
I'm not saying he's going to live.
I think Farhan knows that he's going to make adjustments, and that you'll see a different brand of baseball this year. Who's in the uniform? It still remains to be seen.
My mind will stay open until opening day. That's why they call it opening day. But this is what I feel is an exciting player and probably a smart asset for a very untrustworthy reason. That's what I think.
All right, boys.
I think that's a hot take, and it's a good take.
Well, FP, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for hopping on today.
Thanks. Let's go steal some groceries.
Yeah, let's go. We're going to catch us at Target in San Francisco. Now, coming up next, Willard and Dibs, 95.7 The Game.